Is this all there is? Is this really how it feels to be a successful CEO? You laid in front of the TV, resigned to never leave that spot again. Your body feels heavy, your mind feels blank, and the room filled with the low hum of conversations from a show you're not even watching, and the faint scent of that diptyque candle burning on your coffee table, the one you used to love. You come alive because your phone buzzes with another congratulatory message because another milestone was hit, another six-figure month. The balloons are ordered, the view glow is chilling, and yet you'd rather do anything but celebrate. You've wandered through your perfectly curated home, stepping across the cold marble floors, passing by the oversized floral arrangements sent by that high-end client who is so appreciative of you. Everything looks beautiful on the outside, yet you feel numb. You sink into the plush white couch, glance at the glowing screen of your midnight blue MacBook Air, and you think, is this all there is? Is this really how it feels to be a CEO? Your eyes scan the room, the designer furniture, the walls lined with art that you hand selected from your last trip in Paris, the empty glass of milk rests on the marble countertop. The foam is now separated. You don't even remember making it. But here's what you remember again. A few years ago, you were that woman. You were driven, ambitious, hungry for success. You were so positive. You would have killed for the life that you are living now. But you look at yourself in the mirror and you can barely muster the energy to reply to the endless Slack messages that are piling up. One second you're on the top of the world feeling like the most creative, powerful self, and then the next second you're drained, exhausted, feeling overwhelmed. You find yourself in a problem-solving mode 24/7. There's always something to fix, always something to manage, and you know you can do it. You are so positive. You're like, give me a problem, I got this. So then you figure it out, right? You've got automations, delegation, you had a team member, then you have less teams. Anything that felt hard, you hired somebody to help you. You downloaded an app to handle it. But despite all the systems and the optimizations, you still feel like there's a little something there, something that you feel like there's a missing piece. But here's what the truth is. You haven't lost creativity, and you didn't lose your way. Because at some point in the chase for more revenue, more impact, more growth, you stopped asking yourself this one very important question. What do I want? When was the last time that you asked yourself that? Let me tell you something. My client felt this exact same way. She was constantly chasing milestones, running after launch after launch. She was keeping up with the expectations of her audience, her team, which was pretty tiny, right? And the vision that she thought she needed to maintain. She told me, I feel like I should be on top of the world, but instead I feel like I just want to take a nap. And 1 second, she felt like she was at the peak of her creativity. And then the next second, she felt like she was drowning in another problem that she needed to solve. It was always something to fix, something to manage, something to do. And the moment she finally felt like she had a second to breathe, then another thing would pop up. Automation was her answer in the beginning, so she streamlined, she outsourced, she optimized every aspect of her business. Anything that felt hard, she found something to do it. Anything. She leaned on her team, mighty but very small team, to manage everything from customer service to content creation. But even after all the automation, she felt, why does it still feel this way? Where did my creativity go? She had been focused on milestone after milestone, right? And she was distracted because she is brilliant at what she does. Like it sets her mind on something, it happens. She is so positive and so ready to go and so ready to dive into the hard inner work. She is ready for that. And so when she hit those milestones, the excitement fooled her into thinking everything was great. And so after 10 years in business, she felt the spark of her creativity draining. And she was like, this is interesting, because suddenly she started to feel overwhelmed when things were really usually easy. And she thought, okay, this is par for the course. This is just the way it is to be a successful entrepreneur. She felt like, oh, okay. One moment I feel charged. One moment I feel my most creative ever. The next minute I want to take a nap. She just was like, okay, this is just the way it is. Because she is a naturally positive person, because she is naturally somebody who is like, knows that she is so good at what she does. She is somebody who knows that she is determined and she's not going to let anything take her out. And so I asked her, what do you want to do? And she paused and she's like, oh my God, I haven't thought about that in years. Because she was so focused on growth and so focused on working with what was already working. She was so focused on building what she had already built and what her audience wanted and what her team wanted and she forgot about numero uno, herself, which is why I'm here as a high level spiritual leader and coach and mentor. I'm here to remind you that you matter too. Think about numero uno, because without you, none of this survives. And if you're nodding along with this in this whole scenario and you're feeling this deep in your bones, I want you to know, I see you. I know exactly what you're carrying because I've done it. My clients have done it. And I'm here to tell you, this isn't how it's supposed to be. Inside Divinity House, we aren't just talking about strategy and systems. If that's the conversation you need, yes, but the first thing we're going to talk about is your frequency. The first thing we're going to talk about is your energy. The first thing we're going to talk about is God, frequency, your higher self, and how are you walking through every single freaking day. The first thing we're going to talk about are the triggers that came up. The first thing we're going to talk about is how to integrate the lessons you have already learned and step back into your power, the positive you, the determined you, the powerful you, the God frequency you. Because the reason why you feel so exhausted or you feel like, oh my goodness, this is happening again, is because there's resistance there, because you keep doing the thing that you know you do not want to do. And you haven't asked yourself, what do I really want to do? How do I want to do this? What would feel fun and exciting for me? Your business is a reflection of you. Everything in your outer world is a reflection of what's going on in your inner world. So if you feel like you're running on empty, if you feel like no amount of automation is going to help you bring back your creativity, it's because you have lost that divine feminine spark. You have to go inward. You've got to reclaim your pleasure, your joy. And this is what we did together. We stripped back all the noise. She stopped looking at what everyone else was doing. She got back into her own lane. And then she found a solution that was something that she never thought about. We cleared space energetically, emotionally, and physically using somatics, and allowed her true desire to resurface. And so if you feel like you're like overcomplicating things And your once simple and joyful business is now becoming like, oh, you're not alone. But you also don't have to burn it all down. You don't have to start from scratch. Look, let me talk about what it really means to get yourself back to your desires, your creativity, the unique way of doing things, things that feel effortless, right? And it really is from shifting from autopilot to intention. Autopilot to intention. So let me get back to that story that I was telling in the beginning. This is how my client went from overwhelmed to being unbothered. And so in that story, like she was looking at the screen, right? And she was staring at the screen and she was feeling the weight of her success pressing down on her shoulders. And in that moment, she realized that, she realized something. Something hit her like a tidal wave. She wasn't tired because of the work. She was tired because she had been running so fast towards the next milestone, the next win, that she completely abandoned herself and her desires in the process. She was so focused on growth, so focused on hitting that next milestone, so focused on making sure her clients were happy and engaged, so focused on delivering what was working and supporting her team, she forgot about herself. She kept thinking, you know what, if I keep going, if I just pushed through, I'd feel better. But that is how she was operating on autopilot for so long, and it snuck up on her. And so what she remembered is that if I don't take care of myself, my energy, my body, my creativity, my business will suffer. And so she asked herself, what do I actually want to do? And at first, there's silence. Because when you've been moving at lightning speed for so long, it's time to slow down so you can hear yourself again. And it doesn't take forever, it's just a few minutes. So she sits with it and she lets it sink in and she lets the noise quiet down enough to hear the whispers of her soul. And the truth comes pouring out. She didn't want to burn it all down. She didn't want to disappear from the space she worked so hard to build. What she did want to do was shift. She wanted to remember why she started. She wanted to simplify things that had become too complicated. She wanted to reconnect with that vision, that mission that feels so effortlessly exciting. It's not draining. It's not obligatory. She realized it wasn't about strategy. It had nothing to do with the hot next new automation tool or another employee or a next funnel tweak. Her exhaustion wasn't going to be fixed by hiring employee number 692. Because you won't find a solution for an energetic problem until you deal with it energetically. And her energetic problem was that she was completely disconnected from the source of her creativity, her passion, and her joy. This is the trap that so many entrepreneurs fall into. You start with passion, you start with excitement, you start with a clear sense of purpose, and somewhere along the way you get caught up in the machine, the expectations, the strategies, the goals, the milestones, the launches. And before you know it, you're running a business that feels like a burden, not a blessing. And instead of blowing it all up, you just need to come back home to yourself, to your desires, to the vision that you had when it all started. And this is what I work with my clients together on in Divinity House. You are killing it. You are doing so well. But there's that disconnect and the joy that you get to really bring back to yourself, your heart, your soul. We don't just focus on business success. We focus on you, your energy, your alignment, your frequency. Because when you're disconnected from your God frequency, everything is harder. But when you shift back into alignment with that, when you remember you are divinity in a body, when you remember that you are the divine diva who came on this earth to do exactly what you're doing right now, all of a sudden things flow again. You attract with ease. You create with joy. With my client, we didn't start with a new business model. We started with her energy, got her back into alignment, showed her exactly what she wanted. She shifted from overwhelm to ease, from forcing to flow, from autopilot to full creative expression. And if you're listening to this and you're nodding along and feeling like your business has become the thing that runs you instead of the other way around, this is your wake-up call. Success is not supposed to feel this way. Creativity is not gone. Just find your way back with this question: what do I want? So once we shifted my client's energy, and she came back to her source, her true desires, her soul, her God frequency, her divinity, she didn't need another strategy. Because her business was lacking her divine power. Aligning with your energy is not a one and done thing. It is a daily commitment. Aligning with your divinity, your God frequency, it's a daily commitment. And it's something that we have been conditioned out of. We've been conditioned to feel fear. We've been conditioned to really think that we are lowly people and don't have any power, and the people who have power are corrupt or can't be trusted. We've been conditioned out of our magic, conditioned out of the miracle that we are, and that is why Divinity House is so focused on you being in your divinity, in your God frequency, and remembering that it is not about the next shiny object. Once my client reclaimed her creativity, reconnected with her desires, things started to shift. But not even in the way that she originally thought it would. When she did that energetic reset using the Align Soul Alchemy method, and we tapping into her frequency alchemy, like alchemizing the actual frequency that she was feeling, we didn't start with action, we ended it with it. Her frequency was the foundation, and when your foundation is shaky, it's when everything you built on, all the obligations and all the shoulds, start to crumble. And so she let go of the constant pressure and focused on pleasure, what she wanted, what felt good, what felt easy, what felt light. And when she did that, it unleashed a new level of creativity that was buried under the layers of the shoulds, the expectations, and the unnecessary complexity. She simplified, she cleared space, she restructured offers, she let some offers go, she let some people in her organization go, and she stopped saying yes out of obligation. She said, does this bring me joy? All of her creativity came flooding back. She got new ideas, fresh inspiration, and then guess what she attracted? More aligned opportunities, collaboration things. She got out of the fix it mode and the constantly needing to put out fires and needing to manage every single detail. And instead, she had space, real, expansive spaciousness. And that is what I want for you. The key to expanding without exhaustion is there's so many women that I work with that come to me thinking that they need to change their entire business in order to feel fulfilled again. And the truth is, all they needed was fine tunes and tweaks to their frequency and daily devotion to being divinity, daily devotion to being the divine diva who led with her God frequency and becoming unbothered by what everyone else thinks and so focused on her vision and her mission. Imagine waking up every morning and not feeling the weight of your empire, but excited to lead it. Imagine feeling so anchored in your power, your vision, and your unique way of doing business that nothing shakes you. Not the algorithm changes, not market shifts, not trolls in the comments, not that whole comment that people were like, oh, if you lived so well and you made so much money, why does your house look like that? All of that didn't even bother her. It won't bother you either. Because when you are energetically aligned and in your God frequency, you become unbothered. You move differently. You lead with certainty. And your success feels light, joyful, and fulfilling. I always love to say the aligned soul is about fame, fortune, and fulfillment, but it is also about divinity and aligning with the God frequency and knowing that I am God within me, in this body, divinity in this body, because God is peering and experiencing life through me. Who are you becoming? When you prioritize your energy, everything shifts. Not just your business, but your life. Because when you become deeply connected, when you feel that deep sense of connection to your vision, your creativity, your joy, your purpose show up every single day. Your relationships thrive, your health improves. You attract opportunities that you've never imagined possible. And this is what we do inside Divinity House. It's not just about making more money. It's about leading from alignment, not that alignment where, oh, if it doesn't feel good, if there's a challenge there, it doesn't mean that I'm supposed to do it. No, that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about the resilience that is you, that you know how to deal with difficult things, and you're moving from such deep connection to your vision and to your mission, you naturally start to feel joy. When my client aligned with her God frequency, she stopped second guessing every decision. She no longer needed to overanalyze each launch. She really didn't overanalyze or overthink the hires or her pivots. She moved with the conviction. She moved with confidence. She trusts her intuition deeply at a soul level. And she was able to expand her business. When you connect with your divine feminine energy, and I'm not talking about the feminine that's like, oh, wear the sexy dress and do all of this stuff. I'm talking about the power, the warrior, the divine feminine. It is creation, it is flow, it is intuition. It is fierce. When you're in that energy, your creativity doesn't stop. You magnetize so easily. You are a trend setter. You are leading from inspiration. Everything that you do feels lighter. There's a spark to it. And I'm telling you, instead of my client feeling overwhelmed by her day to day, she was excited by it. She was like, okay, now what? Okay, that's happened. Okay, let's see what we do. Because she knows how now to manage her energy. She knows that the energy of a problem isn't solved when you're in the problem, it's solved when you move beyond the frequency of that problem. Here's something most people don't realize. They think that it's something wrong with my business, so let me fix it. Let me hire, the 7,000th employee. Let me, I'm not creative, so let me download this productivity app. Let me get somebody and automate everything. So you've automated everything, so you don't touch any of your creations, and you don't touch any of your content, and you don't touch this, and you don't touch that. And then all of a sudden you feel so disconnected from your vision and from your mission. One of the biggest transformations that I witnessed in my client was that she went from pressure to play. Instead of waking up and being like, what do I need to do today? What do I need to fix? She went to, what do I want to do today? Which is a subtle shift, but it is a shift that is magical. Because when you are in alignment with your desires, everything flows effortlessly. It's not about force, it's about trust. And that is inside Divinity House. Your creativity was never lost. If you're listening and you're thinking, where did my spark go? Why do I feel uninspired? Let me tell you something important. You didn't lose your creativity. You got distracted. You got distracted by the noise, distracted by the endless cycles of growth, of scaling, of maintaining, distracted by the pressure to be on. And here's the news, your creativity is still there. And inside Divinity House, we create space for you to rediscover it. Like, come back out. Like, you didn't create these empires because you wanted to just sit on the beach and like drink a coconut drink or something like that. You wanted to be creative. You wanted to be positive. You wanted to be like, I am it. I am like, yes, I'm in my power. You wanted your power. And so in Divinity House, we create a space for you to clear out the clutter, the energetic noise, the expectations, the obligations, and we bring back you to your core frequency. Once we shifted my client's energy, the next step was making sure she maintained it, because success isn't about a one-time energetic breakthrough and shift. Yes, that feels so good, but it is about daily maintenance, daily alignment. You have methods for that. And as your success builds, it's easy to get distracted by it, to get caught up in the numbers, to get caught up in the launches, to get caught up in the pressure. And before you know it, you'll be back in the space of overwhelm and wondering where it all went wrong. But when you prioritize your frequency, everything else falls into place. Your creativity stays high, your energy remains aligned, your business flows effortlessly. So the biggest thing I want you to take from this is your expansion, whether that's your 7-figure year, your 7-figure month, your 7-figure day, or your soul aligned offer, or whatever that next thing that you've been desiring to do, it is not going to come from you automating everything and taking your creativity away. It's not going to come from you like working even harder. It's going to come from you coming back to a space where your energy is lit up, where your vision is that fiery vision that you had from the first day. Because when you stop running on autopilot, you can actually intentionally lead yourself. You can wake up in the morning and instead of feeling the immediate weight of your inbox, your client messages, or your to-do list, you can actually feel light. You can feel spaciousness. You can feel room to breathe. Like imagine getting up in the morning and pouring your matcha, right? Not because it's a habit or it's on your list, but because it actually feels nurturing to you. And like walking around in your silk robe and walking over to your chair and looking out to the sun and seeing like the skyline or your backyard and just feeling like for the first time ever you're in not in reactive mode, you're present, you're intentional, you're in the moment. Taking a deep breath and allowing that creativity to build just because. When my clients started integrating these practices that we're talking about in Divinity House, she stopped rushing through her days and began savoring her now moments. She restricted a schedule based on the kind of schedule she wants. You see, I have clients that like the busy schedule, want calls all day, every day because that feels good to them. But I also have clients like me who love spaciousness, have certain days for certain things. But all of them coexist and all of them are living their best lives because they gave themselves permission to step back and create from what they want, not because of what they think works. And this is why businesses are flourishing in my world. Launches are effortless. What if success could really feel easy? Creativity could just feel like that's just how it is in my world. Inside of Divinity House, we are creating a new paradigm. We are rewriting all of those old stories and creating a business and a life that feels as good on the inside as it looks on the outside. We're breaking up with the shoulds. This is the biggest breakup my client had. It wasn't her partner. It was all the shoulds. She stopped shooting all over herself, right? Because she was like, I should launch this way because that worked before. Or I should show up on social media this way because that's what they expect. I should take on my client even though I'm at capacity. The truth is, when she was acting out of obligation, it kept like bearing all of her creativity. Her energy was drained and her creativity took a hit because you cannot create from depletion. You cannot innovate, expand, or lead when you're constantly in should mode. So we stripped it all back. We simplified it. We aligned it. And the result, she's free for the first time in years and made more money than she's ever made. That way you can create from overflow. Your calendar isn't packed with back to back to back unless that's something you love. Your inbox isn't a source of anxiety. We created space to think, to create, to dream. And this is the reality inside Divinity House. I help you build your business in a way that supports you and your energy. In Divinity House, we help you step into your God frequency where clarity becomes second nature and creativity flows effortlessly. It's where you move from overflow. And this is because your frequency is no longer one of stress and striving. My client didn't need a new strategy. She needed to come back to herself, her joy, her pleasure, her vision that set her soul on fire. And so this is your invitation into Divinity House. You are a successful leader. You are a positive light. You are somebody who is determined to create change in this world. And you are craving a space where you align, calibrate, and step fully into your creative power. So Divinity House is your next step. It is the place where you expand, feel supported energetically, emotionally, physically, and spiritually, where you don't have to figure it all out on your own, and where you daily remind yourself you are divinity in a body, and you own into and step into your God frequency. Inside Divinity House, we give you the space to support and feel supported. Because when you are a spark and a flame for someone else, they be the spark and the flame for you. And then we're all burning bright, and we're all the lights that attract all of the people. In Divinity House, we help you reconnect with your unique way of doing business that feels effortless, that lights you up, and that feels sustainable. Because energetic ninjas are needed at this level, not strategy ninjas. It's time for you to lead differently from a space of joy, pleasure, ease, alignment. Keep asking yourself the simple question, what do I want? I see you. I honor you. I'm here to walk with you as you rise. And until the next time, hugs, kisses, and all of the feels. Stay bougie, be healed, and keep it divine, Diva.